Hello and welcome back to another video. This might be the last of the series, so congratulations if you made it this far. In this one, we are going to be implementing some fixes for our storage containers, and we're also going to implement placing down storage containers, and we're also going to make it so that the IDs of the storage containers update depending on if they are being created, so that you can create, and that's going to automatically assign it a new ID based on its location in the array. So before we get started with that, we need to do some fixes, as I said. So the first fix that we want to do, because you're probably going to want to create your storage, and I didn't have that foresight to imagine you wanting to create it inside your crafting bench. So what we're going to do is we're going to right-click master item, and we're going to create a child out of that. This one is going to be our storage fix. And our storage fix is going to, well, it's going to have an inventory, but we're actually going to have that inventory inside of master item. So every item has the potential of having a inventory, basically. So now if I go to storage fix, now storage fix should have the item. There we go. Now we also need to remove our master storage. So I'm going to actually just attempt a remove. This is going to be a horrible thing. You don't want to do this. Actually, let me search storage. Do we have any childs? Yeah. So I'm going to remove the storage child. I'm going to I'm just gonna hit force delete. If we crash, we crash. Beautiful. Master storage. If we crash, we crash. Let's go. Okay, awesome. So now we got our storage fix. It's not working though. I mean, we don't really have any way to tell. So right click storage fix, and we're going to create a child from our storage fix. I'm going to create a small container, right? I'll move that into storage containers. Our storage fix also needs a static mesh. It needs the player ref. We can get that later. It needs the class settings of interact interface, and this is just so you can craft it inside what's it called, in your crafting bench and such. Here we're getting our player ref. Out from the player ref, we can now get hard ref. Out from hard ref, we can now get player inventory. And then we're gonna generate storage inventory. Storage ref is our inventory component. We're gonna get our player ref. We're going to toggle storage. And let's see if there's anything we're missing then. So I'm gonna go to my storage containers, my small storage container. This mesh, I'm gonna set it to be I'm just gonna set it to be that. Did I set up the, no I didn't. So I'm gonna set 40 by 5 on my slots. There we go. Okay, so now we got that. However, we have no way of actually, we know how to save things in here. We don't know how to save things outside of here. So what I'm first gonna do is implement a way to place all of this down. So what I'm gonna do for that is, inside of my inventory system, this is gonna be filled up by the end of this, I think. I'm gonna right click master item, and this one is gonna be my object placement shadow. And all this is gonna do is be an indicator of where we are looking and such. Let's go into our third person character before we continue over here, just so we can go in like an order. On our third person character, I'm gonna make it a function, and it's gonna go in the tick event. Don't worry, we are gonna have handles on checks so that it doesn't fire off all the time. This is update object placement, and update object placement is going to have the AB1. I'm going to validate the inventory slot of the selected slot. I'm going to make sure that it is valid. And we might need to add some more things later on as well. Object shadow. We don't need that yet. Yeah. So what we are going to do is head over on our master. We want to get a new variable, master item. So that master item, we're going to add another one here to our mesh scale. This one's going to be placeable. Back in my third person character now. Get item info at index. And then I can get the defaults. And then we can see if it's placeable. If it is not, we're just going to return. If it is placeable, also before we go any further, I'm just going to go to my storage fix. And I'm going to set placeable to be true. And this is a... should we set it to building? Doesn't matter for us anyway. Yeah, let's set it to building. Storage. And also we need to add item details. I keep forgetting that. Okay, back in our third person character, we can now do our famous line trace by channel, which we use everywhere. Getting the location of the camera, getting the rotation of the camera, getting the forward vector, and I'm actually going to have a new variable. I'm going to call this one interact range, because we want them all to be on the same distance. So I'm going to do actually increase this to like 500. Might be too much. We'll see. I'm going to multiply our forward vector with our interact range. That was hard to say. Add them together. I'm going to do a line trace by channel, not a multi. Line trace by channel. Out from our true on our branch. Start is our row location, end is the calculation. We only want to do things if we are actually hitting it though, right? So we're checking if it's a valid slot. So I told you this is going to go in the tick event. So first we're checking if it's a valid slot. If it's not a valid slot, we're not going to do anything at all. Okay, are we holding like a carrot? Fuck, okay, that's not placeable. Okay, we're not doing anything at all. So we're still not using our tick basically. Okay, we are holding everything. Well, are we looking at something? Okay, we're not looking at anything. Well, we're not going to use any more effort then on working with this. However, if we are interacting with something, then we're going to get all actors of class. It's going to be my shadow. We're going to check if it's empty. So do we already have a shadow in the world? If it's empty, aka true, we're going to spawn actor from class. Class is our shadow. The location is the location of the out hit break here. Over there. The location. Set a new variable, which is going to be our object placement shadow range ref, sorry. And then we're going to update some intel inside of that in a minute. Actually, let's go and fix that right now. Instead of our object placement shadow, I am going to make a new function. This one is going to be called update. It's going to have an input of the master item. I'm going to promote that to a full variable. We need a static mesh inside of our placement shadow. Going to set mesh. Get the defaults and such from our item. Have I set up a mesh? Oh, yeah. Now we have a mesh there. And let's also set the visibility to be visible. So we might not delete this later. We might just have it visible and invisible. Now if I go back to my third person character, I can now call my update. And we're just going to go and get our get item info index over there to get the item that we are updating with. This should give us a shadow. Now, our false over here, if it's not empty, then we just want to update it. So let's also go back to our placement shadow. In here, we're gonna make it on our event graph. I'm gonna make a custom event. It's gonna do update location. You could also do this in a function. Should be just fine. The input is gonna be a vector of type lock, and then a master item, name item. This lock we're gonna promote to updated lock. This item we're gonna promote to item. Actually, we're gonna set our existing item to the incoming. Gonna get a default scene root. Gonna set world location, and we're gonna set it to the updated lock. Third person character again. So it's not empty, so we know that our shadow ref is valid. So now I can use that to update location. Location is the location. Item comes from our get node again. Like so. So that's going to spawn it in and set the initial info. This is going to update as needed. Awesome. Now we have a false over here as well that I ignored before, and that was because we didn't have the shadow yet. I don't want to make the shadow without us actually having... I find it easier to go linearly, you know, like, okay, so we're here. Oh, now we need the placeable. Okay, let's go and make the placeable. And now we are making the shadow ref. Okay, now I can start thinking about this. You know what I mean? That's at least what I find is most helpful, to go as linear as possible and not skip over or yeah, just go as linear as possible. So now we're checking if we're valid. If we are valid, we're going to destroy. Okay, so we don't actually need the visibility checker because we are going to destroy here. And if we're not valid, we're going to just going to return. We don't want to destroy anything that doesn't actually exist. We can return after that. And that is it for that. Now I can go back into my event graph. I'm just going to add a tick event because I don't think we have that. Nope. Now we can update object placement. That's always going to check. Actually, we need to set a placeable as well. So inside of my third person character on my event graph, where the crap did you go? There you are. When we add things here, we're actually just going to add our small container. Because remember, storage, we set that to be placeable. So now if I add my storage container, I don't think I have an icon for it. No, but it's okay. Let's go to my storage container again. Set that to be this, and let's also give it an icon. That's our icon. So now press that. Oh, okay. So that is a problem I'm having when I have this small window. Okay, so we're having a collision problem. That's what's happening. Our shadow, we don't want that to be collisioning at all. So now we are able to see that, and also yeah, just move around and change. This is going to work with all of our placeables, right? Now let's make it so that we can actually place this down. So I'm going to go to my object shadow, and after my parent begin play, I'm going to cast to third person character, get player character, and do we have a reference? Yeah, we do. I'm going to set object placement shadow with itself. This is just a double. This is just a double check, just to make sure that we're all on the same page before we continue. And then we're going to get player controller, and we're going to enable input. Oh, like so. Now this will make sure that our placement shadow is able to accept input from ourselves. We're just going to add a left mouse button, and on left mouse button we're going to spawn actor from class. Class is our item. The transform comes from ourself every time, every single time. Ourselves get world transform of the Steam root, and that is going to be our transform. Let's recombine these and plug that in. Now I hit play. I'm now able to place down my chests, and they are fully functioning chests, apart from one thing. They're not savable. Let's start now. They're gone again. So in order to fix that, first of all, let me just move this there. In order to fix that, we need to set up something. The first thing that we're going to start with is our master item, because everything is a part of the master item. At the begin play, I want to cast to my game instance so I can get a reference of that. And promote it to game instance ref, like so. I want to make sure that it's not a shadow. So I'm going to say shadow question mark. It's a boolean. And on my character, when I create my shadow, yeah, let's make that edit boolean explicit spawn. When I create my shadow, I'm going to set shadow to be true. So the only thing that is affected by the continuation over here is going to be that which is not the shadow, and you're going to see that that makes a difference in a second. I think if it's not a shadow, then we want to continue. Okay, we want to continue, and we want to check the actor ID. So let's make it a variable. It's going to be my actor ID, and they're all going to start on 0. For now, we're going to check if actor ID is equal to 0. Because if it's not equal to 0, that probably means that we have spawned this in. However, if it is equal to 0, I'm going to create a new custom event. I'm going to call this one created. And I'm going to call that. So if it's equal to 0, this has been created. It's been spawned in during real time. We're going to head into our game instance for a second. Inventory system first of all, and structs and enums, and here we're going to add another one, a blueprint structure. This one is going to be called my saved placeable actors struct. This will contain a actor ID. It will contain a transform. It will contain a master item class, which is the item. And then we will add inventory components. I'm not 100% sure yet if we do need that. But if we are not able to pass through the information of the index of the ID of the inventory component, then we do need this, because then we're going to pass it through this way. Okay, so that is done. Now we can head over into our, first of all, just copy that name. Then let's go into our game instance. Where are you? Save game. Let's go into save game first of all. My save game. Need to add this, the one that we just made. Then we are ready to go into our game instance and add that as well. Then we need to update some things down here. Same procedure as last time. We're going to get our save placeable actor struct. Get from the object, I'm going to set saved placeable actor struct. Do that of ours. That's going to initiate it. At the load, we're going to get this struct, set our struct to that struct. And then you might think that we are going into this section right here. However, we are not. We are going to create a new custom event. I'm going to call this one spawn placed items. And we're going to call that on our load. I was going to remove my save. I'll be right back. So on the spawn, we are going to get our struct. We're going to do a for each loop out of all of this because we want to spawn in every single thing that we have made. We want to, from the loop body, spawn actor. And we might need to add some variables and such now. The class comes from our split here. So we need a class there. Transform into transform. And then, yeah, I do want to add a couple more debugs here. So, yeah, we're going to add loaded in and the loaded in index. Back to our game instance. Do we set these to be loaded in index needs to be exposed? Back to the game instance, refresh this. Now we're going to set loaded in to be true. The index is the array index. The actor ID, where did you go? Actor ID needs to be our element actor ID. And yeah, it doesn't look like we're going to be using this. So it's loaded in. It's not a shadow. Yeah, should be fine. Then we can get the inventory component. This is why we have it in our master item now. Set the ID to be that of our actor ID. We want to have a one-to-one reference here. And then let us open up our inventory component for a quick second. And on our event graph, we're just simply going to add a custom event called reload. Put that into the, not the resize, sorry, the load inventory. Let's also make sure that the load inventory looks like it should. Should be just fine. Back into my game instance. Now I can add from the inventory component. I can call my reload. Because let's think. We start, we set the things, we spawn in if there's anything to spawn in. Object placement shadow should be finished. We can close out of that. Master item, we are not finished with. So master item, out from created, we're going to get our game instance ref. We're going to get our saved placeable actor struct. We're going to get the length of that array. And we're going to add 10 to the length. So every time it's spawned in, we're adding 10 to it. Getting our inventory component, and we're setting the ID of our inventory component to be that of the outcome of the length plus 10. Afterwards, we are getting our struct again. We're adding ourselves to the struct. The actor ID is the addition. So now the addition and the ID is matching up on the inventory and the actors. We aren't using the contents as of right now. This is where we would enter that. I do not think we are going to continue to use it though. The item is ourselves. Then we need to get the class ourselves. The transform comes from get world transform on our scene route. And then we can go to game instance, save placeable actors. We don't have that, do we? No, we don't have that yet. So custom event, save placeable actors. And what we're going to do is very simple. It's the same as every time. We're going to get our object. We're going to set saved placeable actor struct. We're going to set it to our updated one. Save game to slot. Slot is the same as the other ones. Back in our master item, now we can save placeable actors. This should theoretically, I'm going to add a print after this just to make sure that that is firing off if something bugs out. Let's remove these crafting benches. It is spawning them in. They are in the save. That's why they're still there. Let us make sure that they are actually different IDs though. So let us add one in there. Go out. That's there, and this is not there. That is awesome. Now we can add a double test. So over on storage, small storage container, I'm going to duplicate that to be big container. It's going to have the same, doesn't matter for me. And then I need to get the full blueprint inventory component. This one's going to have 100 slots. Third person character, big container. Removing the save. Now these anvils and stuff should also be gone. These are 2 chests. That's our small one. That's our big one. Small one contains it. Big one contains it as well. Awesome. That is it, I think. I don't think there's much more to do. Now, to place the, for example, the crafting bench, I don't remember what we call that. Crafting bench simple and crafting bench recipe. And then we got our master crafting, right? So they're all, so we can just go to our master crafting, and then we can set that to be, oh my god, what is it? Placeable. Am I blind? I think I was blind. And we can just set every crafting bench to be placeable, so that we can crafting bench simple, crafting bench advanced, remove save. So now I have crafting benches on 1 and 2, chests on 3 and 4. Oh, crafting bench advanced. That's important to actually have a mesh for that. Also add an icon just so we can see it. Crafting bench simple. Mesh for that. That on. I don't know which one is which at the moment. It's when you run this in what's it called? Because it's the borders that's causing these problems, right? Where I drop things. When you run this in standalone, that's not going to be a problem. There's our it is working. It's just different. I picked the different. I picked the wrong. Fuck it. Okay. Advanced. You're using that one. Simple. You're using that one. Good. Play. Spawn in. Assuming these are 2 different ones, they should be. There we go. It's just the opposite. That's just my bad. Anyway, fully functioning. Can spawn in chests. Can do all of that. Can add as many as I want. They're all going to be spawning back in with unique inventories. So I'm going to see if I can remember this. So go out. This one doesn't have anything, right? This one. There we go. Okay, there we go. We got incrementing IDs for our save system, for our storage, and stuff like that. I do believe that is going to be it for this entire series. Unless you have any requests, feel free to let me know on Discord or on the comments below, and I will do my best to oblige. If you made it this far, I'm proud of you. We got there in the end, and yeah, hope you have a good one. Until next time, I'll see you later. Bye-bye.